Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to La Joya Baseball Complex. It's an absolutely gorgeous day for some baseball, and it should be a very, very good one. Live from La Joya, it's the La Joya Coyotes taking on the La Joya Palmview Lobos. And the simple scenario here is the winner clinches a playoff spot in District 35A, and the loser will have to wait another week. And judging by the schedule, La Joya High has to play the Palmview Lobos tonight and then the Edinburgh North Cougars on Friday. Both teams still have possibilities of getting a District 35A title, but they'll have to get some help from the Edinburgh North opponents. Hope the Cougars fall a couple of times. And we're about to get the first pitch underway here as they're going to announce the starting lineups. Alex Peña here on hand with Jonathan Salinas. With the call tonight, La Joya comes in, winners of 6 of their last 7 games. Their only loss was 2-1 against Edinburgh High on April the 15th. The Coyotes, though, will be without Aníbal Leal, who fractured his left hand 2 weeks ago against Juarez Lincoln. He did play last Thursday, but they found out he has a hairline fracture on that wrist, and he'll be out for 6 weeks, so essentially he's done for the year. It's going to be a big, big loss to fill the void of that sophomore, but Coach Ruben Farias said he's got a couple of players in there, a couple of seniors to rotate around the position, and hopefully it won't be a huge loss. The La Joya Palmview Lobos come in with a record of 11-3 after beating Donna last week.
And Sherryland. It was an extra inning thriller, man. They took it 4-3 off 2 RBI single by Edgar Salinas in the bottom of the 9th. It was just one of those games you had to be there to see.
La Joya actually was the one that beat Donna. They went back at it, and then finally the Coyotes were able to pull it off. And there's a lot of, as I welcome Jonathan Salinas into the broadcast, there's a lot of familiarity between these two schools, not just the city rivalry, but the coaching staff. I mean, they are very familiar with each other.
Yeah, Coach Garcia and Coach Farias were coaching together here at La Joya High for many years, and now, Coach Garcia has found his place at Palmview. He's forming his own identity with his program there, and, these Palmview Lobos have showed that they can play, They're looking for their first district title, and a win tonight would be a step in the right path.
We'll step away as we listen to the national anthem.
Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, welcome to the La Joya Baseball Complex. I would like to introduce the Palmview Lobos up to the field first. Starting off with the substitutes, beginning with number 4, Manny Garcia. Number 5, Efraín Hernández. Number 9, Fabian Peña. Number 12, Mario Marro. Number 13, Gio Perez.
So we'll go with the starting lineup for both teams, starting with the Palmview Lobos. Number 6, Edgar Salinas will be hitting first. Esteban Peña, Eleazar Garcia, Ernesto Garza, Cesar Robles, Ezequiel Guaracha, Jose Chapa, Eddie Hinojosa, and Carlos Puente. The Palmview Lobos are coached by Manuel Garcia. And the home team, the La Joya Coyotes, Leroy Prado, Damian Leal, Abraham Perez, Esteban Chapa, Abel Rodriguez, Julio Garcia, Noé Salinas, Esteban Prado, and Jose Delgado. The pitcher for the Coyotes is going to be number 8, Jonathan Ramos. He's the 5'8", 145-pound senior. Also plays infield. And the La Joya Coyotes have a couple of pitchers in the rotation. Of course, everybody knows Esteban Chapa and what the other players can do. But tonight, Jonathan Ramos gets the call as they are about to announce now the La Joya Coyotes lineup. If you're just joining us, it's the Palmview Lobos taking on the La Joya Coyotes here in La Joya Baseball Complex. Alex Peña and Jonathan Salinas on the call tonight. Lobos come in with a record of 11-3 in District 31 5A, same 35, I should say, same as La Joya. Palmview 19-5 overall, 17-6 overall for La Joya. The scenario is simple: whoever wins tonight will clinch a playoff spot officially in that very, very competitive District 35A that has Edinburgh North on top, 12-2. They're playing at Sherryland tonight. Of course, La Joya and Palmview will duke it out here, and Edinburgh High actually is at 10-5 in the fifth spot. So you have North at 12-2, La Joya and Palmview 11-3, Sherryland at 10-4, and Edinburgh High at 10-5. So everybody from North to Edinburgh High has a chance of doing some major damage in the district. So that kind of tells you the competitive edge, Jonathan, that these teams have to battle it out with each other throughout the year.
Yeah, these two games tonight, Edinburgh North versus Sherryland and Palmview here versus La Joya is going to be a good matchup. And, this matchup right here between La Joya and Palmview is going to decide number 2 and quite possibly a run at number 1 if Edinburgh North should see some trouble.
And earlier in the season, La Joya, Palmview beat La Joya 5-2 over there at Palmview. Well, actually, in the
this is actually the third game of the series.
In the McAllen tournament.
Yeah.
In the McAllen tournament, La Joya Palmview beat La Joya 5-2 on February the 22nd. And then in the first round, the Lobos lost at home to La Joya 10-1.
Yeah, that was just one big inning that got away from them. But up until that point, man, it was neck and neck. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that tonight. Also, they have two great pitchers on the mound, and it's all going to come down to the bats. Whose offense can spark, a big inning.
As they are finishing the lineups for La Joya and Palmview, now we'll take a listen to the national anthem. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem sung live
by one of La Joya's own, Mrs. Sundberg.
A lot of talent here in La Joya.
Now you talk about La Joya being without Anibal. Tonight, Palmview will be without their ace pitcher, Chris Rocha. After that 9-inning game with Sherryland, Rocha pitched over 150 pitches. So Coach Garcia is very adamant about resting him tonight and using him only on very serious situations that might cost him the game. That'd be the only time we'd see Chris Rocha on the mound out there tonight.
And that was one game that La Joya Palmview actually had to had to have. And it's odd because that's the 4th team in the district. So that kind of tells you the competitive edge from top to bottom. Even though Donna is winless on the season, of course you have Edinburgh Bell and Edinburgh High and all the other schools struggling. Economides and Juarez Lincoln. From 1 to 5, it's a competitive game, competitive year, and you talk about him throwing 150 pitches. What's the status of him? Did he say when he was going to be back, possibly?
No, well, there's nothing really wrong with him. It's just soreness from that arm, from throwing so many pitches. But Coach Garcia wanted to rest him, make sure he was healthy enough, possibly for next week or maybe even run at the playoffs. But, Coach Garcia was adamant about resting him tonight and using him only on, need-to-win situations for these Lobos tonight.
And this is a need-to-win situation for both of these teams if they want to get a chance of that District 35A title. Right now, Edinburgh North with a 17-7 overall record, 12-2 in district play, and they're notorious for having that 5-inning win against Sherryland. I was there, and it was that second inning lasted about an hour, 55 minutes. They got about 10, 11 runs, and it was just one of those games that got away from Sherryland. But both of these teams need to get a win to have a shot at that 35A title. And
most importantly, to make it into the playoffs, because with 5 teams still gunning, it's going to be a tough end for these 4 teams that do make it in.
Even Edinburgh High at 10-5. Quietly Edinburgh High is in there. You look what Edinburgh North has been able to do, state ranked, but they have 2 losses to show for in their schedule, and they've been hurt as of late. And you mentioned right now the absence of the Lobos pitcher. They're gonna have a very good one though, throwing out there on the mound.
Ernesto, and the good thing about Ernesto is that he's faced this team before. He was the starting pitcher for the Lobos when they faced them earlier in that McAllen tournament, and he has a very, very dominant record. He's 6-1 with an ERA near 1.7. So he's seen his fair share of competition, and he's not too shabby either. Chris Rocha may be their ace, but he has a good supporting cast behind him.
And throwing on the mound first for the Coyotes of La Joya is going to be Jonathan Ramos. Ramos on the season, an ERA of 1.43. He's got 6 wins in 54 innings pitched, 66 strikeouts, and his opponent's batting average is just a shade under .2, .199. So he's done quite a bit of damage in his time on the mound. And we'll get this game underway. Top of the first inning. First batter up for the Lobos, Edgar Salinas, wearing number 6. Salinas, a junior, 5'8", plays second base, outfield, and a little bit of pitching. First throw of the game, right down the middle.
And last week's hero, he's the one that led the Lobos with that 2 RBI single to lead them to a victory to stay alive for that second seed here in the 35A.
So 1 strike on the count. This one to the outside corner.
The count's 1-1.
1-1 count here for Salinas. He smacks it right down the middle over Ramos for a base hit. Salinas getting a single to start this game on just the 3rd pitch of the game. And now Steven Peña, number 2, stepping onto the mound. Stepping onto the plate. The sophomore, 5'5". Peña batting .357 in 22 games played.
Now this is a perfect start for the Lobos because lately they have struggled with their offense, and single up the middle like that to get it started is just something that they need here tonight at La Joya.
And now a toss to the outside for ball 1. Salinas stepping off first just a little bit. Throw to first. Trying to get Salinas there. Looking. Esteban Chapa, the first baseman for the Coyotes. Now throw by Ramos down the middle. Two balls, one strike on the count here. Top of the first. And it's going to be a foul ball off the bat of Peña. There we go. We have the scoreboard on now. And it really helps the umpires not giving a signal of ball or strike. So, ump, thank you for that. Score 0-0. Runners on first for the Lobos. Hit to the right. Esteban Peña. And the throw appears to be out of time. So Peña singles.
Peña with some good wheels. Got that infield single there.
Next up to bat, number 12, Garcia.
Eleazar Garcia now stepping onto the plate after Ramos allowing back-to-back hits. Garcia Jr. batting .296 with a .37 on-base percentage. 24 hits, 24 batters scored, and he scored 17 runs on his own. Runners on first and second, and Garcia showing bunt. Evo Rodriguez going there, meeting his pitcher, Jonathan Ramos, halfway to the mound. Last time these two teams met was on March the 21st over there at Palmview, a 10-1 loss by the Lobos against La Joya. And you bet the Lobos want to get that sour taste out of their mouth. And there's a beautiful hit between left and center field. And that's going to drive one run. Edgar Salinas comes in, actually 2 runs now. Eleazar Garcia with a 2-run double towards deep center midfield. And just like that, a 2-0 game for the Lobos up on La Joya. And you said, Jonathan, how was one inning that got away from the Lobos when they met in the first round of district play. 2-0 lead with no outs on the count and a runner on second. It's getting a little bit out of hand right now for the Lobos, a little bit.
Yeah, and this is their ace pitcher, their go-to guy, as Coach Farias referred to him. So, I mean, in a game as tight as this, 2 runs could be more than enough for these guys.
First pitch down the middle. First strike. So it's ball one down the middle. 2-0 game for the Lobos. And again, the umpire not signaling anything at all.
Very confusing from up here, huh, Alex?
Yeah, especially for me. And there's no score either on the scoreboard, so it's it's a fun game to call. Fun game
The
to call.
sun's really not helping either.
Sun's hitting the scoreboard. The umpire's not saying a darn thing, and we're here 2-0. Palmview Lobos up on La Jolla. Smack towards third base, thrown to first. Catch is made for the first out of the game. Neto Garza 0 for 1 in his first at-bat, and now we're going to see Cesar Robles,
That's
number
actually
8.
Rosales.
Cesar Rosales, number 8. Sophomore, 5'7", catcher and pitcher, batting .365. A lot of these batters averaging almost 350, nearly 400.
Yeah, and Rosales is, last I remember, last time they faced La Jolla was very successful. I know he got a home run over that left field wall, and the week before that he had one against Sherryland, so I'm pretty sure he's looking to get that power swing back into action here against La Jolla.
Rosales falling down the third base line.
There's a pitch that gets away from him and allows Eleazar to get to third. You know, that's critical errors that can be allowed here in these close type of games here in the 35A.
Throw down the middle, and Abel Rodriguez couldn't quite get under it. And that's going to move Eleazar Garcia to third. Garcia with a 2-run double. Played at Esteban Peña and Edgar Salinas for the 2-0 lead. Top of the first, 1 out.
Now it's a minor error, but you're starting to see the effects of Anibal's injury, you know, because Chapa Esteban, usually the starting catcher for the Coyotes, and now having to switch things around with Anibal out of the lineup, it's already starting to show.
And Coach Farias was a little bit hesitant as to who would rotate positions. He just said before the game, you'll find out. And now a pop fly
Out of play.
for a foul. Ramos with 6 victories on the season. A 2-2 count. Ramos going way outside, and some of these pitchers are starting to get away from him. He already had that pass ball that advanced Eleazar Garcia over to third, and now this one way outside, and luckily Abel Rodriguez was able to get that one. Full count for Peña, or for Ramos, I should say, for Ramos. Ramos outside corner, and he's going to walk Rosales. That'll bring up Ezequiel Huaracha. He's pretty good at hitting. Huaracha will have runners on first and third, and just 1 out on the count.
Courtesy runner number 4, Manny Garcia.
Manuel Garcia, courtesy runner on first. Junior. We'll try to turn that walk into something else. 2-0 lead for La Jolla Palmview over La Jolla. Baseball here live on 956sports.com, presented by Payne Auto Group, McDonald's, and South Texas College. Huaracha showing bunt. Wants to get a base hit and possibly load these bases up to set up a good scenario for Jose Chapa, but Huaracha with a 1-0 count and 1 out. Ramos, the throw for a foul. And now that I'm seeing the crowd, it's a pretty decent crowd. It's a nice complex here, and the La Jolla and Palmview crowds really coming up to support their high schools.
Yeah, this rivalry usually gives a big turnout.
Huaracha feels it right into the hands of Ramos. You don't normally see those kinds of bunts just popping up. Kind of a gift for Ramos. And Ezequiel Huaracha goes 0 for 1 on his first at-bat. So with 2 outs, Jose Chapa will try to drive in another run. Out on third is Eleazar Garza. He's got this game 2-0. 2 RBI double. Splitting second and third base. A high arcing smack, and that's where we stand right now with 2 outs on the count. And Jose Chapa facing Jonathan Ramos. Toss down the bottom corner for a ball. Now to the near side is throw for ball number 2. And if you're Jonathan Ramos, you don't want to get behind your count, because then you're going to have to throw some strikes down the middle, and Jose Chapa will be anticipating that, and runners on third and first. More runs coming in could come in with 2 outs here. Ramos outside again.
Wow, that one was a little too outside there.
And they call it a strike. They call it a strike. A 2-1, and Emmanuel Garcia away from first. Down the middle for ball number 3. So they're going to walk Jose Chapa. Loaded base situation coming up for Eddie Hinojosa.
Stepping up to the plate, number 1, Eddie Hinojosa.
And the big thing here is coming through in the clutch. You know, the Lobos had a couple of situations like this, bases loaded, and couldn't really pull it off there late in that game. They had one in the 7th. They had another situation, I think, in the 8th. You know, so the big thing here against La Jolla is scoring some runs, you know, taking advantage of these bases loaded situations, because they could come back to haunt you later on if you don't.
And that game they lost on February the 22nd, I believe, 10-1 over there at home. Let's see what Hinojosa can do here. Throw to third, and that's going to be an out. They caught Eleazar Garcia out at third, and the Lobos leave 3 runners stranded. Ramos avoids the jam here on just 3 hits to start the inning, and then retired 2 batters, 2 walks, and threw Eleazar Garcia out at third. That'll do it for the top of the first inning. Palmview Lobos 2, La Jolla Coyotes 0.
Come back Thursday morning for the only sports show in the RGV and follow us on Twitter at 956sports and on Facebook. Hi, this is Amanda with 956sports.com. Check out this week's show where we take a look at soccer, basketball, and football from the past week. Come back Thursday morning for the only sports show in the RGV and follow us on Twitter at 956sports and on Facebook. Hi, this is Amanda with 956sports.com. Check out this week's show where we take a look at soccer, basketball, and football from the past week. Come back Thursday morning for the only sports show in the RGV and follow us on Twitter at 956sports and on Facebook. Hi.
Bigger website Scared. It changes news every day and has some of the best stories around. It also has videos, games, and in-depth articles about the teams you care about. And they have their only sports show in HD in the 956. Mate, if you get a chance, go to 956sports.com. Oh, the best website in South Texas. Oh, crikey. You wouldn't believe what I just found in South Texas. 956sports.com. It's probably the best sports website in the Rio Grande Valley. It's an elusive little website.
First of the bat for La Joya, number 13, Leroy Prado.
Welcome back to La Joya Baseball Complex. Alex Peña with Jonathan Salinas here on hand for the District 35A matchup, Lobos and Coyotes, or Coyotes, depending on where you're from.
Or your preference, I guess.
Well, actually, we call them Coyotes. I mean, people, I guess, like Sharyland natives, Coyotes.
Coyotes, yeah. A lot of people from La Joya will take offense to that.
Los Coyotes. Los Coyotes on top 2-0 with a 2-run double by Eleazar Garza, then got picked off on third, squandering a loaded base situation, but Leroy Prado will step on as the leadoff hitter, facing off against Ernesto Garza. Toss right down the middle for the first ball. Second throw for a ball.
He seemed to have found the strike zone with that one there, Alex.
He finally found the strike zone. First two balls, a strike, a 2-1 count. Leroy Prado, 23 games played, batting .252, 9 RBIs, getting 25 hits, so he averages just a shade over a hit per game. Prado getting on base quite a bit. Neto Garza again throwing to that outside corner, 2-2 count. The 2-2 throw. And it lands right into the Palmview Lobos dugout. Or almost. And that's one of the dangerous things about baseball. You have to have the safety net out here guarding the fans because you never know where that ball is going to travel. So after that foul ball, 2-2 count for Neto Garza. A junior captain for the Lobos. 6 feet tall. DHs. Throws right. We'll find his stats here in just a little bit to give you more or less an idea of how this junior captain has been able to fare throughout the season. The throw, and Prado getting a base hit. It drops. And he'll reach first. Leroy Prado getting his 26th hit of the season, and he's right up there on that average of getting a shade over a hit per game. This will bring up Damian Leal. Leal, a junior.
I can see this matchup has already drawn the interest of some of the playoff contenders. Laredo United right below us here in the press box, taking some stats here. Looking at these two opponents, seeing which they'll face.
Are they the Longhorns?
Huh?
The Longhorns?
The Longhorns, the United Longhorns.
Palmview played Laredo United last year, right, in the playoffs?
Yeah, they didn't make it past. They have not been able to make it past that first round.
And now the hit by Leal over to second, and a fielding error by Esteban Peña. That should go down as an error.
That will definitely be an E6, and errors have been something that have been costing these Lobos, been causing a lot of problems for them, because as Coach Garcia calls them, it has this domino effect. One error will lead to another, and it's something that Coach Garcia is looking to avoid here against La Joya.
And this came off of top of the first inning where the Lobos recorded 3 straight hits, singles by Salinas Peña, and then Eleazar Garcia drove in a 2 RBI double. And after that, 2 players going 0 for 1, then 2 walks, and then finally Ramos picking off Garcia on third, leaving 3 runners stranded. And after that, a hit and an error puts runners on first and second, Prado and Leal. And now Abraham Perez, number 4. Lobos outfield coming in a little bit.
They have to be expecting something. Maybe even a bunt or...
Well, he does bat .419 in 22 games. And that first throw will be for a ball 1. He's got room between their second and short. So second baseman and shortstop splitting out wide, and they're giving all the room to work with to the center field. Throw down the middle for ball number 2.
This strike zone just seems to be all over the place, huh, Alex?
It's at the bottom, starts at the bottom of the chest up until the thigh area.
Right around the knees.
That's the thing about baseball. It's very subjective. What some see as an error, some see as just a normal mistake. What some see as the strike zone. Obviously, the strike zone. A lot of people have a problem with the umpires and how they call it, especially now in Major League Baseball when they have the instant replay, and that still hasn't seemed to correct much. Can't imagine instant replay in high school baseball. Ball getting away from Neto Garza.
That was actually it was a bunt foul.
And that's why the outfield was coming in. They're expecting that bunt by Abraham Perez. And now
Yeah, with no outs and runners on first and second, Farias is trying to ensure, moving both runners into scoring position, take away that double play threat, and, let that middle of the lineup do its job.
And Garza looking straight back at Leroy Prado on second. And if it is a bunt, try to see what play he can throw to third.
Well, now with a 2-2 count, the bunt's pretty much out the window, but let's see what goes on right. And he gets him swinging. Nasty curveball. Did you see that one?
And he looked like he was trying to pull it back at the last second, but once that batter's out there.
He had him fooled all the way.
So first strikeout of the game, Abraham Perez goes down. That'll leave Esteban Chapa, number 7.
Number 7, Esteban Chapa.
Chapa, one of the captains on this team, a junior, 6'1", 176, one of the more powerful players, you should say, physique-wise. Pitches, catches, and also plays a little bit of infield, and he gets on base quite a lot, averages a .493 hitting average in 23 games. Short and second, shifting to the outside corner for strike number 1. So an 0-1 count here at the bottom of the first inning. 2-0 lead for Palmview over La Joya. And the Coyotes, with runners on first and second, toss way to the outside for ball number 1. Chapa on 23 games on the season, 34 hits. So he's someone that makes connection with the bat quite often. Garza, the 1-1. And Chapa sends this one to right outfield between right and center. And he's going to load the bases with just 2 outs on the count. Esteban Chapa getting the second hit of La Joya. Abel Rodriguez now with a perfect situation. And the Lobos already had one similar to this in the top of the first, and they stranded Cesar Robles, Jose Chapa, and Eleazar Garza got picked off on third. Rosales, not Robles, Rosales. Yeah, I've been doing state soccer for the past 3 weeks. I'm barely getting back into the groove of baseball. One of the last games I covered was North against Sherryland. That ridiculous game, second inning. It just took 55 minutes, and that's just one of the shades of 35A. Anybody beats anybody right now. North and Sherryland are going at it over there in Mission. And this one right here, La Joya and La Joya Palmview. Bottom of the first, and the Coyotes with a chance here to make it at least add a run on the count. So with 1 out, loaded base. And Garza with his first ball in the count. Abel Rodriguez batting .360, 27 hits.
Hey, it's a whole lot of work for just $20, sir.
What?
And he's got runners on third, first, and second with just one out. And Garza throws ball number 2.
Or is it 15? I don't even know anymore.
Hey, you guys.
This is out of pure like kindness in my heart.
As it should be, Josh. That's right. You're one of us. Always will be.
And Rodriguez not electing to swing on either of those 2 throws. And this one caught down the middle for strike. 2-1 count now for Abel Rodriguez, the senior. Rodriguez. And he got behind his count with 3 balls and 1 strike, and now he's going to start dealing it into the zone.
And an interesting thing to look at, Coach Garcia told me that he was going to give him a 4-run limit. You know, as soon as he hits 4 runs, he was going to be pulling them and putting in Huaracha. So it's going to be interesting to see how many, if any, La Joya can knock in right now.
Rodriguez hitting it into our vicinity for a foul. And now it's a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, and just 1 out. Loaded base for La Joya. Abel Rodriguez still on the plate. So you have Chapa, Damian Leal, and Leroy Prado on the bases for the Coyotes. Rodriguez. Takes a swing at that chopper to third.
He steps on third and he gets him out at first. Man, what? That is one heck of a double play here to save.
That's 2 outs?
To save Ernesto Garza out of a bases loaded jam.
So they leave 3 runners stranded. So a nice double play there by the third baseman. And incredibly, La Joya unable to add runs. So both teams with loaded base situation keep it clean. And as we step into the top of the second, La Joya Palmview up 2-0 over La Joya High.
Quick announcement, ladies and gentlemen. This is for everyone in the stadium tonight. We have 956 Sports in the house, ladies and gentlemen. That is 956sports.com. They are streaming the game live as we speak. Go ahead and check it out for all your Valley sports updates, ladies and gentlemen. Swing on by 956sports.com.
So that was double play? So an amazing double play thrown by the third base to tag the runner on second and then throw all the way to first and get Abel Gonzalez out. So that double play ends the threat. Both teams unable to take advantage of a loaded base situation. And first inning gone, 2-0 lead for the Lobos over the Coyotes. Ramos still on the mound for La Joya. And Eddie Hinojosa still on the mound. Jesus Eduardo, but on the roster it says Jesus. They call him Eddie.
They call him Eddie.
Any of these players have nicknames?
Most common being Huaracha. They're known as Mookie.
Mookie?
Mookie. And Ernesto for Palmview on the mound, they call him Neto. So
That's not much of a nickname.
not much of a nickname at all. But Mookie kind of stands out amongst the rest there, doesn't it?
Sounds like Pookie a little bit. So first ball by Ramos. And Hinojosa connects it high and wide for out number 1.
To center fielder Leroy Prado there. Prado has a knack for making these clutch grabs. I know I saw him earlier in the season against Edinburgh High. Made a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch to basically seal the win for them. It was one of those spectacular catches you had to be there to see.
So the center fielder Leroy Prado making that grab and keeping it a 1-out game. Now it's Carlos Puente, number 3. He lets this one pass for strike number 1. Carlos Puente, a junior, 5'10" outfielder for the Lobos. Bats .286. 20 hits. And that one's thrown near to him for ball number 1. 1-1 now.
Nice breaking ball there. Just couldn't seem to find the inside corner. You know, the strike zone with this umpire seems to be a little bit varied. You know, it seems to be moving here.
Ramos again.
Looked a little low and outside.
Well, these first few pitches, at least he's throwing them down the middle. You got a couple of 2 pitches that were thrown way to the outside, and that moved a couple of runners on a pass balls. And now a chopper down to third, throw to first. Is it in time?
Looks like he got him.
Out number 2. Good job by Esteban Chapa to get the catch and the throw by Damian Leal. As night starts to fall here in La Jolla, we can now see the scoreboard. At the first inning, we could not see anything because of the sun. Then the umpire was not helping. He would not even twitch a muscle.
Just seeing pitch by pitch as they went by.
It's kind of like when they try to wake you up, and instead of knocking on the door, they just brush a feather. Like he'll just say, he'll just whisper it. But now we know what he's calling out on the plate for strike number 1. That's Edgar Salinas. He singled to start this game off. He's the leadoff hitter. Palmview starting with 3 hits in this game. And Ramos cleaning it up just a little bit now with 2 strikes. He's been throwing down the middle, finding that elusive strike zone that you talked about.
Yeah, he seems to be finding his rhythm now, and you know, he's had that before in the past. You know, he starts off a little rocky in that first inning, but there he forced a little line out to second base, and that'll end the inning for him. You know, he's had those type of innings where he struggles early on and then just seems to be lights out after that. So I'm pretty sure Farias is counting on him to find that stride again.
And Ramos retiring the batters in order. 1, 2, 3. Hinojosa and Puente and Salinas go down. We'll get to the bottom of the second. 2-0 ball game. La Jolla Palmview over La Jolla.
With 956sports.com. Check out this week's show where we take a look at soccer, basketball, and football from the past week. Come back Thursday morning for the only sports show in the RGV, and follow us on Twitter at 956sports and on Facebook. Hi, this is Amanda with 956sports.com. Check out this week's show where we take a look at soccer, basketball, and football from the past week. Come back Thursday morning for the only sports show in the RGV, and follow us on Twitter at 956sports and on Facebook. Hi, this is Amanda with
Bigger website, Scared. It changes news every day and has some of the best stories around. It also has videos, games.
I know. She was just like, oh, wait, what?
The pitches, like whenever he's like a curveball or a slider.
Oh, okay.
Anything you can have, I just curse when I see you. Oh my god. You're gonna see like. Start this bottom of the second inning. Julio Garcia onto the plate for La Joya.
First at the bat for La Joya, number 11, Julio Garcia.
The Coyotes getting a little bit of help on both sides of the ball after starting the game with 3 hits allowed against the Lobos. John Ramos has been sensational, not allowing a hit after that. And the Coyotes unable to get any sort of offense after a loaded base situation with just 1 out. A beautiful double play ended the threat. And they caught Leroy Prado out at third. So both teams leaving runners stranded. And the first throw by Garza is down the middle for a strike.
Now, Palmview is very familiar with Julio here at the batter's box, number 11. You know, he was still suffering from an ankle injury he had suffered earlier in the football season. And he made his debut against Palmview in their first district matchup and came up with a base-clearing triple to the left field wall. So I'm pretty sure that's tumbling in the back of Ernesto's mind right now as he delivers to Julio.
And as I was looking down the stats on Max Preps, they had a couple of players with triples, and he's one of the players. But this time they get him swinging. Julio Garcia strikes out. Second Coyote to do so. And Noé Salinas
Now batting number 25,
stepping on to the
Noe
plate.
Salinas.
Noé Salinas, a senior, played just 15 games this year, batting .318. 2 runs, 7 hits. And he looks like a power hitter.
Yeah, when he gets his chances, I've seen him produce quite a few. And he's known as Mr. Clutch, I know, because they called him up last year in a very crucial game, and he came up with a game-ending single to put it away. So he gets limited at bats, but he makes the most of them.
La Joya coming off a 15-9 win here at home against Donna. And before that 2-1 loss against Edinburgh High. They are riding a winning streak, winning 6 of their last 7. And they're right there in the playoff hunt. They'll have to get through their sister school this evening. Garza.
You know, and one thing Farias talked about after that loss to Edinburgh, you know, they had a lot of opportunities and a lot of errors. A couple of fielding errors that didn't really cost them much, but still errors that Farias pointed out to his teammates that could have been avoided. So, you know, I'm pretty sure Farias has explained the magnitude of this game and how opportunities are going to come so often. You should take advantage of every single one you get.
And both coaches really holding back on secrets with formations and techniques as to who will be playing out there. They really want to hold back and not let anything get through.
Well, if it's one thing I know, they're very familiar with one another. They've worked together for more than a decade, so, and they're both very suspicious. They're maybe not suspicious is the right word, but
they're coy.
I guess. But baseball's a very superstitious game, and they all like to stick to their guns. And that's one thing you learn from hanging around with these two guys long enough, that they do not like to share their secrets if they don't need to.
That's one thing about baseball that I still can't comprehend, the unwritten rules and the superstitions, stuff like that. I mean, I know you're not supposed to step into the pitcher's mound, or whenever he's getting a a no-hitter, but here's a line hit. Noé Salinas unable to get it to first in time for out number 2.
You talk about superstition. Farias, till this day, puts on his uniform the same way he used to when he used to play. He told me, you know, so maybe not a big factor, but it's still a good mental factor that they like to bring into the game.
Does he go shirt first or socks?
I actually didn't ask him the routine. I'm pretty sure that's another superstition of his as well. He doesn't like to. I don't know.
Two outs now for Esteban Prado, number 27. Garza delivers for ball number 1. Esteban Prado, one of the players that Coach Farias spoke eloquently about. 20 games, batting .317, gets on base nearly half the time. And on the year, the sophomore, or the senior, I should say, sophomore, Nestor Prado, Esteban Prado, 13 hits, 12 runs. So he's a player that can, he's a speedy player and he can also hit as well. As Prado calls for time. 2-0 lead for Palmview. Trying to hold on to it with 2-0 count and 2 outs on the board. Garza up high for strike number 1. We're trying to get some updates on the Sharyland Edinburgh North game. Hopefully it's not one of those 3-hour second innings like they had the first time. And Prado, chopper over to first, and Garza covers his base on time for out number 3. Garza retires the batters in order. No hits, no errors, no runner stranded. 2-0 lead after 2. You're watching baseball here on 956sports.com.
Sports.com. Check out this week's show where we take a look at soccer, basketball, and football from the past week. Come back Thursday morning for the only sports show in the RGV, and follow us on Twitter at 956sports and on Facebook. Hi,
And
this is
in-depth articles about the teams you care about. And they have their only sports show in HD in the 956. Mate, if you get a chance, go to 956sports.com. Oh, the best website in South Texas. Oh, crikey.
Starting this top of the 3rd inning for the Lobos. Esteban Peña, number 2, singled in the 1st inning. Was one of the only 3 hits that the Lobos have thus far. And Peña on the season, batting .357, getting his 26th hit. Ramos still on the mound. And you said, Jonathan, that if he gets in some kind of a jam, that they won't hesitate to make a pitching change.
Well, that's actually Palmview,
Palmview.
but I'm pretty sure Farias Farias, I'm pretty sure, is willing to go pitching by committee to finish out this game, because a win tonight would secure, playoff contention and move you one step closer to that 35A district title.
Well, a lot of these players can play multiple positions. Chapa, Arnulfo Peña, as Ramos delivers to the outside for ball number 2. And it seems like like Ramos was getting in a little bit of a jam in that first inning, allowing 3 hits, but then he's been able to clean it up. After that, the Lobos have not recorded a single hit. Retired the batters in orders in that second inning. And now Ramos up high near
Seems
the
to be
helmet.
finding a little bit more trouble again here, finding the strike zone.
Seems like that one got a little bit away from him, almost to the helmet of Peña. 2-0 lead here for the Lobos. Top of the third inning, trying to add on to that. Alex Peña here with Jonathan Salinas, 956sports.com. Foul ball. Game presented by McDonald's South Texas College and Payne Auto Group. If you're watching the game, you can tweet us at 956sports. You can tweet me at Alejandro Peña. And Jonathan, your Twitter handle?
At John_956sports.
Peña sends to the outfield. Nice grab made there.
No, it actually
He
fell in
dropped it.
between the 3 of them.
There were 3 players, and that's just lack of communication. For sure, it looked like Jose Delgado was going to make the grab out there on right field. And that's one of the things that may drive Coach Farias nuts for his outfielders to not communicate with one another.
And he has that look on his face already. You can tell he has his hands at his hips, and he's already made his way into the dugout. But when you get that stare, that cold stare, he's not too pleased.
And we actually had a couple of students come up here when they had to get the lineups, and he says he's someone that's not very pleasant to talk to. He's very vocal with his baseball players. And this is something that he's going to tell his players once they come out.
Even if no damage comes out of it, I'm pretty sure he's going to have something to say to his outfielders there.
But even when things go great, you still have to find something to correct, and that's one of the things.
Coaches are never truly satisfied. There's always something to correct, so Farias has mastered that art, I guess you could say.
So foul ball with a 1-1 count. Two 2-0 game for the Lobos.
See, there's bullpen activity on both sides here, so obviously neither is willing to fall too behind.
They caught Garcia swinging for strike number 2. So thus far in 2 innings of work, Ramos allowing 3 hits, 2 walks, and an error by his left outfielder. Ramos dealing again, and Garcia sends one high into the outfield, and this time his outfielder is able to make the grab. Esteban Prado.
Now batting number 21, Ernesto Garza.
Neto Garza, the pitcher, now hit. Lobos one of the teams that don't have a designated hitter.
Now when you got a big boy like Neto Garza at the plate, I don't think you need a designated hitter hitting for that boy.
Neto Garza, 6 feet tall. Seven runs on the year, 17 hits. Both a threat on the plate and on the mound. He's already kept La Joya shut down through the first 2 innings. Now trying to do something with a runner on first. 1-0 count, top of the third. And Ramos gets Garza swinging for strike number 1.
Right now, I hope he gets a strikeout because that's going to get him a pump.
1-1 count, 1 strike, and make it 2 swings at the plate. 1-2 count for Neto Garza. One-two count for Garza, and Esteban Peña on first with just 1 out as the Lobos lead 2-0 here at the La Jolla Baseball Complex.
And he gets
Garza,
him swinging.
they caught him swinging down low, and that ball seems to be cutting inside for out number 2. That was Ramos' first strikeout of the game on the inning. The only player on base has been an error. That's how Esteban Peña reached as he opened up the top of the third. And then Eleazar Garza thrown out, and Ernesto Garza with a strikeout. That'll set up Cesar Rosales, number 8. And Rosales sends a high ball to the outfield, caught for out number 3. No hits, no runs, 1 error. And it's a 2-0 contest. Palmview on top of La Jolla.
No one scored, right? No one scored, right?
Bottom of 3rd. Bottom of the third inning, Jose Delgado stepping up for La Joya, the shortstop. He's a freshman, one of the few freshmen that's able to crack the lineup of either of these teams. 22 games played for the 5'7", 135-pound infielder and shortstop. Averages .211 hitting percentage, 8 RBIs, 11 runs, and 8 hits. And they need something like that as La Joya trails 2-0 against sister school Palmview. Garza cutting to the inside for ball number 1. Want to send a shout out to Hector Luna, listening all the way from Sonora, Mexico. So 2-0 count here for Jose Delgado. And make it 2-1 now for first strike for Jose Delgado. Trying to get away from throwing too many balls. Goes out the tip of the bat.
How many hits does La Joya have? How many hits does La Joya have? La Joya. 2 hits.
2 hits for the Coyotes. Leroy Prado and Esteban Chapa did the damage in the first inning. 2 strikeouts for the Coyotes. And just 1 error on the left outfield by Damian Leal. And this time Garza delivers to the outside. Full count now, 3-2 for Delgado. This one's going out for foul.
Especially if you're sitting right down. I wouldn't be able to see.
Full count still here for Neto Garza. He's had 2 strikeouts and just allowed 2 hits through 2 innings work. And now a chopper over to second. Throw to first in time for out number 1. So Neto Garza has retired the last 5 batters in order, including that beautiful double play against Abel Rodriguez that killed a loaded base situation with just 1 out.
At this point, the Coyotes are just looking to start some sort of rally to kind of lift their spirits, but I'm looking at Neto's arsenal here. He's got a good combination of pitches. He has a splitter, a cutter, a curveball, his fastball, a changeup, and he even tries a knuckleball every now and then. So it's going to be up to these Coyote hitters to trying to get something going and come through.
First one to the inside for ball number 1. And every time I go talk to a pitcher after the game, I always ask him what kind of pitches were working for you tonight. Every pitcher always tells me their fastball, their changeups. He said the cutter, and I don't really expect anybody to be throwing cutters in high school, but Garza, really powerful build, 6 feet tall. I'm sure he's up there in the 170, 180 range. And he's got powerful arsenal, like you said, on the...
Well, the entire Palmview pitching staff has the cutter in their arsenal. You know, Huaracha, if need be, coming in and for relief. You know, he has his curveball, his fastball, and a slider to complement his cutter. So, you know, these pitchers are well versed with their pitching arsenal that they have.
And you talk about pitching for Palmview, Rocha, who is not playing tonight, threw over 150 pitches last week against Sherryland in
In a 9-inning game, it was an unbelievable finish. But you know, Coach Garcia would like to rest him, and you know, he said if need be, he would bring him in for emergency situations. But for now, he's going to try and rest him as much as he can.
Palmview next game on Friday against Edinburgh Economides, and with the Jaguars winning, I believe, just 2 games on the season, safe to say we can almost tally up a win there, even though Coach Garcia didn't want to.
Stranger things have happened in the game of baseball, but yes, the Economides Jaguars have been struggling lately, so the Coyotes have the tougher test ahead of them, getting through Palmview today and maybe Edinburgh North in their season finale.
And this one, a pop fly ball caught by Peña.
Both pitchers seeming to work a lot faster than that first inning.
Damian Leal now stepping onto the plate after he reached base with an E6. One of the 2 errors on the game, the other being also an E6. But when Esteban Peña went up to bat for Palmview, after that first inning, we haven't had a hit in the second and third innings, so both Neto Garza and Jonathan Ramos dealing well from the mound. Garza releases from his right arm to the inside for the first ball. 1-0 count. 2 outs and no runners on base. Garza with 2 strikeouts in each inning, and he would love to end this inning with a K. Damian Leal, a junior for La Joya. Plays infield, outfield. 5'8", 150-pound junior. Batting .326.
And he snuck one by there.
A powerful swing nonetheless. Cutting air.
And you can be sure Farias is reminding him to lay off that high pitch. You know, that's one thing that's always bothered Farias is, you know, his team going after what he calls the little league pitches. You know, he says you can't catch up to those, not this level. So
Coach Garcia stepping into the mound, and we'll see what the discussion is here.
seems to be a problem with the mound. Might have, I think his footing might have slipped. Let's just hope it's nothing serious for Neto Garza.
And Salinas spreading the dirt out, and like you said, maybe even it up just a little bit. Pitcher's very protective with their mound.
Yeah, but with 2 pitchers, you know, taking that mound, it takes its toll and makes uncomfortable holes for their landing foot. So it might have been something that he might have just missed with his left. He seems to be doing fine, though. He's going to be staying in the game.
Well, Neto's been dealing pretty well from the mound after 2 hits allowed in the first inning. No hits after that, just 1 error in the first. And he's got La Joya shut out at the moment with a 2-1 count and 2 outs in this bottom of the third. He struck out Abraham Perez in the first and Julio Garcia in the second. 2-1 now for Neto. And Damian Leal avoided that hit just a little bit. It's one of those fastballs that you have to just tuck your body in there and hope it doesn't hit you.
Neto still seeming to struggle with his footing.
So I went for ball number 3, 3-1 count for Garza. And I thought they called the ball, but apparently it's a full count now.
The
3-2.
umpire calling that low and outside pitch, not sitting well with the crowd here. Now we got a full count with 2 outs. What do you think of a situation like this one, Alex?
Well, like you said, he's trying to get that footing placed on the mound, and he's already had a couple of pitches go to the outside near Leal. But he's got to deliver it to the bottom corner. That's where his area's been working. But
Looks like he got him swinging. Umpire calls. Umpire says no, he didn't go, so this inning will continue.
Wait, is it 2 outs or 3 outs? Oh, ball 4? Oh,
that's fine.
Looks like Rosales is debating the call with the umpire, but umpire not having any of it.
And I thought it was a strikeout too.
It looked like he went, but first base umpire said he didn't go, so he has the better vantage point.
So Leal reaching base twice on an error and a walk. And he's keeping that on-base percentage hovering at about a 396.
I think he called it a strike. Yeah.
Two outs now for Abraham Perez, number 4. Abraham Perez, a senior. 26 hits on the year, batting .419. And as a runner on first. Perez calls time. Perez calls time to adjust to the plate.
He's already counted them on and documented them.
Perez a chopper. Right between Leal, and it's going to be an easy throw to first. Evo Rodriguez. Or Ezequiel Guaracha making the grab at first. And it's going to be out number 3. 1 runner stranded, 1 walk, 1 hit. And the Palmview Lobos lead 2-0 after 3 full innings.
Oh, no, he's with Palmview. He's with the team. He's like a back door or park or something.
3-3 in the third. Edinburgh North 2-3 in the top of the second.
But it's tied 3-3.
In the third.
Well, right now, make sure you announce it.
Did Jake leave?
No, he said he was going to because there was no girl.
Did girl play? Good job with those pitch stuff. Pitching stuff. Good job with all that pitching.
Mumbo jumbo. Mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, whatever you can, just keep throwing stuff like that. Good job, this and that.
Órale, here we go, Guaracha.
First with the bat for Palmview, Ezequiel Guaracha.
Starting the top of the 4th inning, 2-0 lead for Palmview. Ezequiel Guaracha, the first baseman, stepping onto the plate. They call him Mookie.
This is Mookie at the plate, yeah.
Mookie. We'll have to find out how that name derived.
Who knows how these nicknames start? seems to just stick.
Well, it's like you can't really go through high school unless you have a nickname. But Mookie, one of the captains, the fan favorites of the team, 5'10", throws right. Also bats right. Huaracha sending a foul ball here to the outside on a 1-1 count. Huaracha, most of his stats come from the mound, but he has a batting average of 138. He's got 49 strikeouts in 32 and a half innings pitched. He's got 3 wins as a starter and an ERA of 3.46, but Huaracha batting 138. And still facing Ramos on the mound. They caught him swinging to the inside corner for the first strike. 3-1 now for Huaracha. I know his cousin or one of his family members, Priscilla Huaracha, for a class, so they changed the call now 2-2. Full count now, 3-2. And Ruben Farias telling something to his catcher, Abel Rodriguez. 3-2 now for Huaracha. Ramos delivers for ball number 4 and a walk. Huaracha getting on base, setting up Jose Chapa, who walked in his earlier at-bat. Ramos has already issued 3 walks, just 3 hits, and 1 error to go with a strikeout. Both of these teams with superb players on the mound, and some of them already warming up on the bullpen. I saw Ranulfo Andrade warming up for La Joya, but
Now Chapa's got some heels. As you can see, the third baseman's creeping in, expecting maybe a bunt, but Chapa's swinging away here, so I guess Coach Farias isn't going to play it. Going to play it safe and creep in that third baseman, see if he gets him to lay a bunt down.
well, he's trying to move his player on first over to second and moving at all costs. But if you can hit this one over Ramos, he's got a ton of grass to work with. Now Ramos throws back to first. Esteban Chapa, his first baseman. He's got Huaracha over there on first. Huaracha gets a good 7 or 8 feet. Curveball here thrown, and chopper down third line for foul. 2 strikes on the count, 0-2 with no outs, and a 2-0 lead for La Joya Palmview. Alex Peña here with Jonathan Salinas on the call. 956 Sports presentation of high school baseball presented by McDonald's, South Texas College, and Payne Auto Group. You can tweet us at 956 Sports. You can tweet me at Alejandro Peña, and of course, Jonathan at
John_956.
John_956. Let us know what you think of the game if you're here and you see some of the scouts here from Laredo United or any other.
They're still sitting there quietly, jotting their notes down.
Well, after the La Joya split, really, both coaches telling me they have not been able to get out of that first round.
Yeah, they have struggled a bit, but they've been fortunate enough to make it into the playoffs. So, you know, Palmview looking for that first district title in 6 years. Coach Farias looking for his 7th over here at La Joya. So, There's a lot at stake here tonight.
And it's really been a difficult split for the school as they get the first strikeout here on Jose Chapa. Eddie Hinojosa now stepping onto the mound. It's been a difficult transition still, even though it's already been, what, 6-7 years of the split.
Yeah.
Football teams have not made it once into the postseason. The basketball teams, I'm not sure how they fare there.
Palmview basketball team has had respectable seasons. I know they made the playoff last year as well, but as far as La Jolla and Juarez Lincoln, I know they've struggled a bit as well.
Soccer, I mean, that's the one
That's the
glimmer
go-to
of
sport.
hope for soccer. Of course, you always have La Jolla, Juarez Lincoln battling there, and Palmview knocked out in the second round against Los Fresnos over there in Donna. Overtime loss, I believe. And baseball is just one of those sports where they make the playoffs in a very tough 35A when you have the Edinburgh schools. Even before Edinburgh Vela emerged, you always had battles with Edinburgh and Conomies and, of course, Sharyland. Foul ball again here by Eddie Hinojosa, Jesus Eduardo Hinojosa. And they told us that the fans only really come out to the playoff games, but it's city rivalry.
Yeah, these games and the playoffs usually produce this kind of outcome. You know, we seem to have almost a sellout house here.
And you have one guy in the outer bleachers.
All by his lonesome, laying down over there.
And they caught Hinojosa swinging for out number 2, back-to-back strikeouts by Ramos.
That caution tape dividing the red and black seems to have found its way to the floor already. No longer dividing both schools, so just goes to show you how many people exactly are out here tonight.
Yeah, the yellow tape means nothing. Fans will sit wherever they please. It's all La Jolla.
I just overheard you and I had to get up and look.
The throw now high to Ramos. Looked like a ball to me. So 1-0 count for Carlos Puente. And after that first inning, no hits. No hits for either of these teams. Ramos for La Jolla and Neto Garza doing a superb job on the mound, combining for 4 strikeouts and no hits after that first inning. Both teams combined for 5 hits, all in the first inning. It's been a defensive battle as of late, so whichever team gets most runners on base and whatever they can do to push them towards third and possibly score a run. I mean, we're not looking at a 10-1 game anymore. We're looking at a defensive battle here.
Well, don't count the chickens before they hatch either. I mean, La Jolla came back strong in that 6th inning in their first encounter, with Julio leading that base clearing triple to left. So there's still a lot of baseball to be played, but you know, it seems to have been a pitcher's duel now after that first inning.
Ramos with 3-0 count. And he finally gets a strike. Guaracha still there on first with 2 outs. And the hit over to third, tossed to second, and the second baseman did not have his foot on the plate. Abraham Perez made the grab, but appeared to lose his footing. So the throw from third to second, it appeared he didn't have his foot on the plate. And that means the Coyotes giving up 2 runners now on first and second. And that's a hit for Carlos Puente. So the first hit comes from Carlos Puente. First hit since the first inning. And Ramos now looking at a 2-run threat here with 2 outs.
Courtesy runner at second, number 5, Efrain Hernandez.
Efrain Hernandez coming in as a courtesy runner. Place of Huaracha.
Oh, wait, was that for Huaracha?
Huaracha was the first runner to get on base on a walk. And then 2 strikeouts back-to-back, Jose Chapa and Eddie Hinojosa.
Correction, pinch run.
Then that hit by Carlos Puente.
Looks like that fielder's choice by Puente is going to bring up Salinas, who was a hero in their last game. Let's see if he can get anything going for these Lobos, because I know Coach Garcia is looking for a lot more of insurance runs.
This one high and wide, Salinas for out number 3.
You got it, right? Yeah. Oh, I heard screaming, and then I saw
Abe
swinging it in.
Edgar Salinas leaving 2 runners stranded on base. 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs scored. It's still 2-0 lead for La Jolla Palmview.
You better hurry up.
I want to get some run so I can go learn about more balls. And somebody asked me not to keep me over.
Huaracha's still in at first. I thought he had a pinch runner for. Huh? Huaracha's still in? Yeah, he can come out. He can come back in one. But they had already taken him out, didn't they? No. They pinched for him over there. They pinch ran for him right now. They what? They pinch ran for him right now. Oh, I thought they took him out. No, he can come in. He can come back into the game one right now.
First of the bat for the Coyotes, number 7, Esteban Chapa.
I don't know why.
Bottom of the 4th, 2-0 game still for La Jolla Palmview. And Garza still on the mound, going up against number 7, Esteban Chapa. Singled in the first inning. Part of a 2-hit inning. That's been the only times the Lobos have been able to get something off of Garza. 1-1 count here for Chapa. Making out 2-1. Chapa with that bad placement, high and top. Shanks it off the catcher for the 2-2. Chapa batting .349, almost 500, so he gets on base half the time with a hit. 34 hits on the year, scored 34 runs and 28 RBIs. So he's one of the more effective players offensively for the Coyotes. The 2-2 way to the outside. And it'll be ball number 3, full count for Chapa. Chapa clearing it over to third base for a foul ball. Almost got
his coach Farias there. Right?
He might have
That
said
line drive.
he might have said something to him, and he said, "I'll show you, coach." Trying to one of the few times you're allowed to hit the coach, but like I've been saying all along, it's a dangerous sport, especially for the players. I mean, they don't wear helmets. The coaches are right there. You can hit the ball to the dugout, and we've seen a lot of accidents happen there, but these players going without helmets, and they still keep swinging. Chapa got caught for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 4th.
Now batting number 14, Abel Rodriguez.
That was a 3rd strikeout for Garza on the game. 2 hits, 1 error. And this time facing number 14, Abel Rodriguez, the catcher. Throw away to the outside for ball number 1. Rodriguez batting .360 in 23 games, 27 runs. And in terms of scoring batters in, he's got 24 RBI, so another one of the productive players for La Jolla. In the 3rd inning, Edinburgh North getting 3 runs to tie Sherryland, so that game of importance for both of these teams as they try to get into the hunt for a District 35A title.
Well, for right now, I can assure you, Coach Farias' mindset is on this game and this game alone. He's trying to get his offense going, and Neto on the mound has done a great job of keeping him off balance and keeping him off the scoreboard as well. A funny note about Palmview. Coach Garcia started the 2014 season, and he expected his players to be out on the field practicing, looking forward to that first day of spring baseball, and instead he found them all sitting down on the dugout just staring out onto the field. And one thing his team captains told him, we're preparing for practice, we're being disciplined right now because this is where you win a district title, and so far it seems like that discipline has paid off for them lately.
1-1 count with 1 out, 2-0 lead for Palmview. And Garza looking over to his first baseman, Ezequiel Huaracha. Stepping about 10 feet away from his plate. And dealing to the corner for strike number 2. This toss getting away from Garza, nowhere near the strike zone for ball number 2, and he's going to have a little chat with his catcher, Cesar Rosales. Crowd getting a little bit into this game now. Every time they stomp the field, we can feel the vibration here in the
most of the chatter coming from the Palmview side. La Joya's still looking for something to kind of lift their spirits up here.
Rodriguez calling for time now, sets up with the bat up and high. The windup, and Rodriguez putting into foul territory, but making up the grab there towards the first line is Eleazar Garcia for out number 2. Garza looking to keep a streak going of retiring batters in order since the start of the 2nd inning. He'll be going up against Julio Garcia, number 11. Garcia Jr., 6'1", 140 pounds. Plays all sorts of positions, including infield, outfield, and pitching.
And Coach Garcia outside the Palmview dugout already warning his left fielder that ball might be going towards him, because Julio has a knack of pushing that ball towards that left field.
And the left fielder almost a little bit further than the rest of the outfielders. And here's Garcia batting left. That was a very slow throw to the outside. He took a little bit of time to get that cocky motion. One ball, one strike, 2 outs. No runners on base. That's been the narrative all night long for La Joya. They've only gotten 2 hits, courtesy of Leroy Prado and Esteban Chapa. Outside of that, they've only reached on a walk and struck out twice. So Garza dealing well from the mound in hopes of getting a good result here, combining with an Edinburgh North loss over their mission. This pitch going way too close, almost to the shin of Julio Garcia. Last time we checked, it was the 3rd inning, and actually now it's 7-3 Sharyland after 3 innings over Edinburgh North. So the Lobos getting some help from the Rattlers. This one didn't come down the way he wanted to. 3-2 count now for Julio Garcia.
Interesting note, before the game, one of the coaches from the Palmview dugout told me that he's related to Julio Garcia, and he has family watching all the way out from Chicago. So pretty sure Julio's got something in the back of his mind there to give his family to watch. Fortunately, he's going to be sitting down with a K right now.
Not this. Caught him swinging for the 3rd out of the game. No hits, no walks, no errors, no runners stranded. We have now completed 4 full innings of baseball. La Joya Palmview on top of La Joya High, 2-0. High school baseball here live on 956sports.com.
Amanda with 956sports.com. Check out this week's show where we take a look at soccer, basketball, and football from the past week. Come back Thursday morning for the only sports show in the RGV and follow us on Twitter at 956sports and on Facebook.
You wouldn't believe what I just found in South Texas. 956sports.com. It's probably the best sports website in the Rio Grande Valley. It's an elusive little website that makes bigger websites scared. It changes news every day and has some of the best stories around. It also has videos, games, and in-depth articles about the teams you care about. And they have their only sports show in HD in the 956. Mate, if you get a chance, go to 956sports.com. Oh, the best website.
Hi, this is Amanda with 956sports.com. Check out this week's show where we take a look at soccer, basketball, and football from the past week. Come back Thursday morning for the only sports show in the RGV and follow us on Twitter at 956sports and on Facebook. Hi, this is Amanda with 956sports.com. Check out this week's show where we take a look at soccer, basketball, and football from the past week. Come back Thursday morning for the...
And the score is brought to you by our friends at 956sports.com.
Nine-
Next to bat number 2, Steve Pena.
956sports.com's presentation of high school baseball here from La Jolla's baseball complex. Palmview Lobos leading the Coyotes 2-0 after an RBI double in the first inning by Eleazar Garcia. After that, it's been a pitcher's duel. Jonathan Ramos and Neto Garza going at it. Ramos being able to clean stuff up after allowing 3 straight hits. And at the moment, he's trying to keep another batter in check, Esteban Peña. Number 2, Peña singled top of the first. And then he reached on an E6, the only error thus far for the Coyotes. 1-1 count for Ramos. Dealing to the outside corner, hits the tip of the ball for a foul. So a big shout out to Julio Garcia's family over there in Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City.
The Windy City.
They got fans all over the U.S. And we even had one fan from Sonora in Mexico, Hector Luna, if you're watching. Muchas gracias, camarada. 956 Sports, the #1 media outlet in sports in the Rio Grande Valley. We give you the best of both worlds, not just print articles. We give you video highlights, stream games live, give you video galleries, photo galleries.
Bring you the best of the best.
Everything. Next year should be a awesome season. We got some tricks under our sleeves. We can't reveal them just yet, but we got a lot of good things planned for football season and the whole district realignment. We had the district realignment back in February as the 2-2 count here with Jonathan Ramos pitching against Esteban Peña. Peña fouls it to the Palmview Lobos dugout. La Jolla schools will be in the old 35A, now 36A. It didn't feel right having the La Jolla schools and the McAllen schools split up. And now you got the 3 McAllen schools, 3 La Jolla schools, and Mission High who moved up the ranks. And
Renewing that La Jolla ISD and Mission rivalry, that's going to be something.
And a lot of people not having faith in the La Jolla schools making the playoffs. There's 7 teams, 4 make the playoffs. And Peña sends it up high to the outfield. Grab made by Salinas.
Next up to bat, number 15, Eleazar Garcia.
So we'll also see how that shapes up the landscape of baseball for next year. Right now, McAllen Rowe is one of the top, I should say the top team in the Valley. They're 22-2 overall, well on their way to clinch a District 31-5A championship. You got McAllen Memorial there also with Mac High and PSJ High, along with Westlaco. And here is just a hodgepodge of teams just battling out from first to fifth place. One of those schools is going to be left out at the moment. Annenberg North, 12-2 and 35A. La Jolla and Palmview, 11-3. Sherryland right now winning at 10-4. A high popping ball, and that's going to be an error on the pitcher, Jonathan Ramos. A little floating ball, and Ramos just tried to calmly scoop the ball underneath.
See, he wasn't going to get it. And then, like you said, there's no, if somebody had stayed at first, held it first, they could have still gotten it.
And now it appears that Garcia,
Now batting number 21, Ernesto Garza.
Looks like Garcia might have jammed his finger. He was
Yeah.
trying to shake his hand, maybe trying to get the feeling back in it.
but
That'll bring up Neto now, trying to bring in some insurance running to help himself.
an error on the pitcher. I mean, those are the ones that you have to be able to field underneath you, especially when you're such close distance-wise, and the game's still in hand, 2-0. Mark that error number 2 for the Coyotes. So two of the last three at bats. One has been a hit, the other one an error. They went 2 straight innings without allowing a single hit. Now 2 runners reach. And then I put the strong hit of Ernesto Garza. He sends it between second and third base. A little bouncer. And Garza reaches in a single. That puts 2 runners on scoring position for the Lobos. And like you said, Jonathan, they're trying to get some insurance runs and try to avoid any possible comeback for La Jolla.
Looks like Garcia is still trying to wiggle some feeling back into that right hand. He keeps shaking it. Hopefully didn't injure himself too seriously.
Well, as any coach would say, there's some dirt right there, so I'm not sure if that would really help in the pain process. Not sure where that phrase came from, rub some dirt on it. That does nothing. If you jam your finger, it's still going to hurt like heck.
Esteban Chapa over at first, playing inside, expecting probably a bunt from Rosales.
Well, they haven't had that many opportunities to advance runners. They've had quite a bit of players strike out and hit pop-up flies. So they haven't had players on base for quite some time, Palmview.
Coach Garcia probably looking to cash in on any opportunity he has at advancing them. And there goes
Cesar
a little
Rosales.
bloop over third base and a diving attempt by the shortstop. That one will fall in. And he got the runner over at third. I mean, but catch or not, that was one heck of a try by shortstop.
Now, would that go down as an error, though?
No, that wouldn't go down as, I don't think so.
As a hit. Because that's not a catch that you're supposed to make, especially as a shortstop, but...
No, that'll definitely go down as a hit. But obviously, Coach Garcia is discussing something. Trainer's out going onto the field probably to check up on their shortstop.
That's number 21. That's number 21, Damian Leal. So they got a hit, and then they tagged the runner on third. So that's going to be out number 2 with 2 runners on first and second. So we're back where we started, but with 1 out more. I believe that's the interpretation. Ezequiel Huaracha now on the play with 2 outs and 2 runners on the field.
14, Ezequiel Huaracha.
And afterwards, invite her for a burger.
Wasn't that one night when the
Take it to the base and throw it
One
to
more
the
warning.
dugout.
Oh yeah, Paco, were you here that night, Paco, when
very
what's his name,
first
coach?
inning.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the
Oh,
whole
it was
plate
hilarious.
like,
It was somebody white and blue or white and something. I forgot.
Huaracha known for his pitching. Swing and a miss. Strike number 1 for the Lobos. Trying to avoid another situation of leaving runners stranded on base. They had 3 of them left in the top of the first. Right now they have 2. And Huaracha, very good hitter, can also pitch, but at the moment needs some kind of hit. Almost grazing his left elbow for the first ball in the count, 1-1 with 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning. It's a 2-0 lead for the Lobos. They've gotten all their offense in the first inning, starting the game with 3 hits. Huaracha, little chopper to first, gentle toss, and that's going to be out number 3. So the Lobos get 2 hits, 1 error, and leave 2 runners stranded with no runs scored. 2-0 ball game, Palmview over La Joya. You're listening to high school baseball here on 956sports.com.
Hey, guest commentators. All
No, I
night.
cannot do that because I
It's
get
guest
I get
commentator
one
night.
game.
They don't pay that much to trash talk.
No, they don't pay us they don't pay us enough not to trash talk.
I have to deal with the kids every day, so.
That's a whole story. That's a whole other ballgame. Huh?
Why not? I did.
Update on the game, ladies and gentlemen. It's top of the 4th. Sherry line still up.
7-3.
Still up 7-3.
Here you go.
Starting off the bottom of the 5th, La Joya trying to get something going. Noah Salinas will be in charge of leading off the bottom of the 5th. Neto Garza still delivering on the mound. At the moment has 3 strikeouts with just 1 error and 2 walks. On the plate, Garza has struck out once with a single in the top of the 5th. So he's gone 1 for 3. fans. A lot of chatter going up between these two fan bases. They know each other well. They all live together, and it's just one of those city rivalries that goes down all the way to the wire. Noe Salinas now 0 for 1 at the moment. Sent a pop fly to center field in the second inning. Ball number 1. And Palmview leading 2-0. It's been a pitcher's duel at the moment. Garza throwing to the outside again. But he split the strike zone for the 1-1. Garza high and wide. Crowd not liking that one. Strike number 2 for Salinas. Noe Salinas in 15 games batting .318 with 2 runs and 7 hits on the season. This one hitting the dirt first for ball number 2. 2-2 now for Noe Salinas, the senior. Garza winding. And now Salinas able to connect, but he sends it into the dirt. And on a 2-2, he's able to connect, but pop flies for out number 1.
Standing at the plate, number 27, Esteban Prado.
With 1 out, now it's Esteban Prado, the sophomore. One of the players that Coach Ruben Farias has relied time and time again. 20 games on the season, batting .317. Gets on base nearly half the time, 45%. And has 12 runs scored with 13 hits. And on a team that has a lot of seniors, he's been able to crack that lineup. One of the few underclassmen. Also, Jose Delgado, number 1, a freshman. La Joya, without their sophomore captain, Anibal Leal, had a hairline fracture on his left hand 2 weeks ago. He did play last week. And then they finally discovered the hairline fracture. It required surgery. And he'll be out for 6 weeks, so essentially he'll be out for the entire season. That's a big loss that Coach Ruben Farias talked about, and he did not divulge a lot of information as to who would move into which positions, but he said it would be a loss that would hurt them quite a bit. At the moment, they have not been able to get much offense going. 2-0 lead for Palmview. Garza high again. Ball number 3.
No, the umpire seemed to like it. He's going to call that
So
strike.
it's strike. 3-2, full counts. Doesn't help the umpire is still not giving hand indications. Love
Prado
that.
was well on his way to first.
Yeah, he just threw the bat out. He was about to throw the bat, but then had to scoop it back in to his grip.
Comes a full count.
Garza
And he fouls it off.
fouls it back.
That's a godsend of movie right there, yeah. I just saw it again the other day, and I was the first thing I thought.
I love him.
Oh God, what?
We always use that. There's no crying in baseball. My husband even
Now you have to give praise to Neto for holding his own. You know, I know Coach Garcia was pretty upset earlier in the season, saying that a lot of the media wasn't giving them credit without Rocha on the mound. So, it seems like Neto's held his own here through 5 innings here at La Jolla.
Neto allowing just 2 hits on the game, both in the first inning. So both pitchers really settling down after that first inning. And now they give him the final ball for the first walk of the inning. So Prado reaches first on a walk. Went 0 for 1 before that. And now Jose Delgado also 0 for 1 with a pop fly in the third.
You can see Neto in the Palmview infield making adjustments, knowing that any single hit here could spark life for the La Jolla offense. And, with a 2-0 lead, that's not really much to feel confident about right now in the 5th inning.
And with a tight game like this, any kind of offense would spark that comeback, like you said, Jonathan. But right now, anything they can get on base, a walk, a hit by pitch, anything. And both pitchers really dealing a clean game thus far. Garza down the middle.
He gets the approval of the umpire there for strike 1.
And Jose Delgado would not even attempt to swing at that one. He's been throwing a lot of balls lately that the batter doesn't really know if to swing or not. That's praise to the pitching staff by the Lobos. Garza with a high bunt.
Just out of the reach of Huaracha there. Looked like he wanted to try and attempt a little diving save there, but just a little too far out of his reach.
He's athletic, but not that athletic. They already hit the La Jolla Coyotes already had a throw here on third.
You can see there Moogie going over to Palmview dugout getting some advice from Coach Garcia. See, that's one bad thing. It's also, you can see it as one bad thing or one good thing. These coaches know each other extremely well. They work together for so many years. It's almost as if they know what the other's thinking. So I'm pretty sure Coach Garcia had some input there for Huaracha at first base, holding on to that runner.
And Garcia, an assistant for 7 years under Ruben Farias when he was at La Jolla. And, of course, we talk about the coaching staff, but these kids also, they live right next to each other. They know each other very well. They play, and they've been playing in Little League and since they were young kids. So as they develop through time, they understand more or less how the other player works. Huaracha there on first, covering Esteban Prado, who walked for the Coyotes. 0-2 count, 1 out. And again, bunt shown by Delgado.
And it looks like he got him with that outside breaking ball.
They got a strike on that bunt attempt.
Coach Farias not looking too pleased, raising his arms to his side as if saying, what were you looking at?
Strike number 3 for Garza.
That'll bring up the top of the lineup with Leroy Prado.
Prado actually got one of the 2 hits that the Coyotes have recorded in the first inning. So the first 3 pitches, he got a hit over there between first and second, a grounder. And Prado, I should say, hoping to repeat what he produced earlier. Has gone 1 for 2. Throw from Garza. Runner on first is Prado after he walked. So in this bottom of the 5th inning, they got Noah Salinas out on a pop fly. Then a walk by Noé Salinas. A walk by Esteban Prado, I should say. And then Jose Delgado striking out. So 1-1 count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. And Palmview leading 2-0 since the 3rd batter of the game. The 2-1 for Garza. And thrown over the head.
Looks like those breaking balls are starting to get away from Neto here.
And Prado has to duck down just a bit. He's had a couple of balls there where he throws it to the outside. There was one where he threw it to the behind the batter, and his catcher still had to come out and grab it. But some of the balls getting away from him. But his catcher, Cesar Rosales, doing a good job of fielding those wild pitches.
This favorable count seeming to bring life to this La Jolla crowd as Prado fouls it off down that third base line.
A full count with 1 runner on first. And it's only a 2-0 deficit. Any kind of offense, like you said, Jonathan, one thing leads to another, and it's a domino effect. And that's how these games have played out in the past. Crowd picking it up just a little bit. A lot of people here at the La Jolla Baseball Complex. City rivalry, so nothing strange.
Brings a little more than usual intensity to this matchup here. Neto working from the stretch.
Garza with a full count here and 2 outs. Throws it into the dirt for ball number 4, and that will put runners on first and second.
And that walk looks like it's going to spark a little conversation between Rosales and Garza. Looks like the whole infield's going to join in on this conversation.
Up next, we have number 21, Damian Leon.
Looks like Coach Garcia's coming out to join as well. Might be looking at a pitching change, possibly.
Well, Palmview's got a couple of good pitchers on its roster. Of course, Chris Rocha unavailable for this game after throwing over 150 pitches against Sherryland last week. Maybe Coach Garcia just asking Neto how he's feeling out there. He's walked 2 of his last 3 batters. So Coach Garcia giving Garza the vote of confidence with 2 outs on the board and runners on first and second. And up to bat now, number 21, Damian Leal, the 3rd baseman, reached on an error and then walked. So he gets on base, and if he keeps that trend going, we're looking at a full count at a loaded base situation with 2 outs. For Garza looking over, second base, throwing to the middle of the zone, to the outside, and ball number 1. La Jolla Palmview leading 2-0. Bottom of the 5th. And this one may come back to hurt the Lobos. A high arcing ball, and the catcher makes the play defensively. Coyotes leave 2 runners stranded on base after 2 walks. No hits. So they reach both times on hits. And it's still Palmview Lobos up 2-0 on La Joya.
If they had, I probably would have.
Better not be watching the game on the way home.
I won't. I'll wait till I get home. I'm only 5 miles down the road, so I won't get home. In fact, my husband, I texted him.
It's okay,
asked
they
him,
scored.
Yeah, you said just got home, and I told him that we had, you know, this is an exciting game for playoffs and blah blah. And he says, so I take it you're not coming home right away. And so then, well,
You take it right.
yeah, I said, well, I probably will pretty soon. I'm getting a headache with that is true. And he puts whatever.
Dude, this is turning out to be a good game.
See y'all later, guys.
Careful. Did they? I thought I saw Esteban with the ball. Adjustment? I don't know. No, they didn't.
Batting for the Lobos, number 9, Jose Chapa.
Yoy.
Yoy, yapa. Yoy, yapa.
Joselito.
Oye, yapa.
Joselito.
Hello, no, man, no, man. Oye, yapa.
Joselito. Holy cow.
It's a ball, right?
Yeah. Technically, they're all balls.
Technically, they're all pitches.
Some of them are good enough to be called strikes.
Some of them are good enough to hit the hard place. But those are very, very rare. Very, very close.
Top of the 6th inning.
Oh, and Chapa just got one right past the shortstop for a single there.
In these kinds of tight games, you have to be able to have great ball placement.
Stepping up to the plate, number 1, Eddie Hinojosa.
And now Eddie Hinojosa stepping up to the plate after a
Looks like
single.
Coach Farias is coming out to have a talk with Jonathan Ramos, maybe even think of a pitching replacement.
Jose Chapa singling there. And well, they already had a gathering from the Lobos. They gave Neto Garza the vote of confidence. Now let's see what the result is. Ramos had already gotten out of a few jams, especially in the first inning. They left 3 runners stranded. So they had a loaded base situation, and he finished that with a double play.
Oh, I hate it. My cousin does that.
And it looks like we'll stay the same. Ramos still there on the mound dealing.
With him is that we tell him, hey, Andrew, the sitter,
He's got 3 strikeouts,
no, it's okay. I'm gonna fall asleep.
And has allowed
It's not like he's all like, no, I know. Every single time.
6 hits by the Lobos. Palmview at the moment getting 2 runs on 8 hits. So the last 4.
Oh. Give him a little chin music there on his little bunt attempt.
Last 4 batters for Palmview have singled. And before that, it was an error.
Third baseman creeping in for La Jolla, expecting that bunt, and pitch goes wide outside, and he calls it a strike.
Looking to advance Jose Chapa, who singled on a over to third baseline.
Chapa's got some wheels. I mean, if he can just get that bunt down, you know, he'll surely make it to second. So I'm pretty sure.
Right now he shows bunt and now hits it for a fair. And that's a sacrifice he had to make to advance his base runner to second. Hinojosa with a sacrifice bunt. Moving Chapa to second with 1 out. That will put Carlos Puente on the plate. And Puente 1 for 2, singled in the 4th inning.
Now batting number 3, Carlos Puente.
That resulted in the only hit for the Lobos during that stretch. Puente sends a high one, forcing the outfielder to come in, the right outfielder. And he makes the grab.
So a quick, easy out for La Jolla there with 2 outs. Runner in scoring position. That's going to bring up Edgar Salinas, top of the lineup for the Palmview Lobos here again.
And that was Julio Garcia making the grab for the Coyotes. Edgar Salinas now 1 for 3 on the night, singled to start the game, and after that he's gone 0 for 2. And the sprinklers just turned on.
Oh my God, and the sprinklers have just turned on. It seems to have sparked up the crowd here for Palmview. Coach Farias making his way out there.
Someone strike out the because the sprinklers, and he has to run over there and turn them off.
You don't have nothing about the rain? I want to know, have you ever seen the rain? I want to know. Have you ever? Oh, that's a oh, that would have been good.
And I guess these sprinkler systems are programmed, so they go off at a certain time.
They might have forgotten to turn them off over the weekend.
Easter holiday, forget to do some things when you're with the family. But now Ruben Farias running over and turning them off, and let's see how that affects the outfield play. Does it really affect the outfield play that much if it's a damp field?
It could, but I don't see that playing a big factor. Biggest thing it might do is maybe make the ball a little bit slippery, and if they hit
Yeah.
it to the outfield, might mess up a throw here or there, but shouldn't have a big impact on the game tonight.
But actually, both teams, when they hit the ball, they send it high and up, and that's been pop fly chances. They haven't really hit those line drives that sneak in there. There's been good ball placement for maybe like 1 or 2 batters, but other than that, Ramos and Garza have done a good job of delivering from the mound and putting these balls in places where the hitters can't do anything with them. And now, Edgar Salinas, after a sacrifice fly and a bunt fly, has Jose Chapa on second with 2 outs, and the Palmview Lobos on top 2-0 since the first inning. Alex Peña and Jonathan Salinas here on the call. 956sports.com, presented by Payne Auto Group, McDonald's, and South Texas College. Swing and a miss for strike number 1.
It's a big rip by Edgar Salinas right there, and you can already see Coach Garcia telling him, just make contact, make some contact, put the bat to the ball, and just put it in play.
There's no shame in trying to pull that bat back and knowing where the ball is, but sometimes these...
No. He had a really powerful swing that just seemed to kind of get away from him. He didn't even look where he was going at him, and you can see Coach Garcia offering his 2 cents of advice.
Edgar Salinas, 5'8", the junior, batting .329. He's got 28 hits on the season, so when you have that high amount of productivity, you think you can hit anything, and sometimes you have to pull that back just a little bit and take your balls.
Jonathan Ramos having trouble to find that strike zone again, falling behind 2-1. It's going to be interesting to see entering into this bottom of the 6th, as Coach Farias likes to call them the championship innings. He feels it brings out the best in his Coyotes, and I've seen some stranger things happen in those late innings, so it's going to be a memorable finish, I think.
Well, it's going to be a defensive finish, that's for sure. Not seeing a lot of offense here, and
both pitchers seeming to buckle down after that troublesome first, but Neto getting the better out of it with a 2-run insurance. Umpires having some
Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, flash photography is not allowed during play. Flash photography is not allowed during play. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
obviously a little flash photography going out in the stands, distracting the players. Umpires are just bringing it to their attention.
yeah, I probably shouldn't be taking selfies then.
I'm at a baseball game, but first, let me take a selfie.
2-2. I hate that song. Don't even bring it up. That's not music. Don't
It
get
is
me
not.
started on music. 2-2 count with 2 outs.
And
now
there's a shot up the
finally
middle.
Edgar Salinas able to get
Garcia's
something.
going to send him. And that's going to bring in another insurance run for the Lobos. You can see Edgar Salinas celebrating over there at first. The hero in last week's game, against Sherryland, bringing in those 2 runs at the bottom of the 9th.
Salinas scoring Jose Chapa for an RBI single. And that was all center field.
Now, batting number 2, Steve Pena.
It looks like Esteban Prado playing center field. Oh, Leroy Prado, excuse me. Leroy Prado, number 13, playing center field. So that's going to go down as a single.
That RBI shot up the middle, seeming to give life to these Palmview Lobo fans. Trying to get a little chant going, and there goes a wild pitch. It's going to advance the runner to second base.
And he could have gone to third. He was already running second. But little mistakes here and there costing La Joya. And you already had Ruben Farias walk up to his pitcher, Jonathan Ramos, and ask him what's wrong. And let's see if they'll make some kind of change here, because in the last couple of at-bats, they've allowed 5 hits in the last 8 at-bats. So that defensive game plan that we saw with both pitchers dealing from the mound very well.
And it looks like they're just giving the intentional walk sign to Steven Pena to bring up Eliazar Garcia.
Number 15, Eleazar Garcia.
That's going to put 2 men on for the Lobos, 2 outs.
Garcia in his on the third batter of the game.
Had a little check swing there. Looks like he crossed. I'm just going to call him out on that one.
He was able to get a 2 RBI double. And just a third at bat for the team. That's where we stand right now with the offense clicking in.
Looks like Palmview trying to find some life late here in the 6th. Trying to add a little insurance for Neto on the mound.
They already got 1 run. Edgar Salinas.
Looks like Jonathan connected with that nice breaking ball in the inside corner. Go up ahead. 0-2.
Now 1-2.
No, 0-2.
0-2. Well, these officials not really giving hand indications as to they're making us guess what's going on out there.
Coach Farias shooting out of the dugout as if thinking the inning ended with a perfect pitch, but umpire calling it a little too outside there.
One, two with 2 outs. And a stolen base all the way to third. Edgar Salinas.
Now putting runners on the corners with a 2-2 count. Eliazar Garcia hoping he can bring on at least one more heading into that bottom of the 6th.
Salinas waiting there on third. And Peña on first. 2-2 count, 2 outs. And a foul ball hitting the top of the roof here at La Joya Baseball Stadium. Baseball complex.
Now La Joya's had a lot of activity in their bullpen, but it looks like Palmview's sticking with Neto. Neto out on that batter's box with a hoodie on. It looks like they're gonna ride him as long as they can.
Well, hopefully they won't get 150 pitches out of him like they did with Chris. But season winding down. Next week they have Edinburgh Economides, or Friday I should say, Edinburgh Economides in the season finale. A win tonight would assure the Lobos a playoff spot with the possibility of maybe still having chance for a district title if we would check the Edinburgh North and Sharyland game. Last time we did it was...
There's a little chopper over to the pitcher.
And
Ramos throws him out at first.
And that's going to end the inning. 1 run scored on 3 hits. 2 runners stranded on base. And the Palmview Lobos add 1 insurance run. They now lead 3-2 here as we head into the bottom of the 6th.
3-0.
He said 3-2? Oh, no. He was going to say 3-2-0.
3-0.
Hey, what's the score? Do you have any update? Edinburgh? Yeah, that's okay.
Row 7, North 1. Yeah, buddy. Boris claimed the title.
What about Sharyland?
Sherry up 7-4.
What inning?
Doesn't say.
Same inning. 6?
That's what 956 Sports retweeted.
No, but what inning?
Is it head coach and first base coach for Edinburgh got ejected from Sharyland game?
Wait, what was that?
Head coach and first base coach for Edinburgh got ejected from Sharyland game. Sherry up 7-4.
But it doesn't say what inning?
No.
You should announce it, dude. Sharyland up 7-4. Oh, I thought that the fourth base coach got it. The head coach and the first base coach. Both of them? Both? That's what it said. Yeah. Obviously, there's something rowdy going on. Alright, so the score was Sharyland up 7-4. Sharyland up 7-4.
We have an update from the game for Sharyland. Sharyland's still up 7-4. They are still up 7-4.
In the 6th. Huh?
We got bottom or top?
No, it's the 6th.
And currently still in the 6th inning.
Brought to you by McDonald's and South Texas.
They're not the ones signing my checks. Friday against North, it's in La Joya, it's up in North, right? Yes, just get out of my press box. Don't scare me like that. I'm the one that doesn't have a key. I mean, wait, what? Well, we got a key.
Now stepping up to the plate for La Joya at number 4, Abraham Hernandez.
Bottom of the 6th inning here for the Coyotes, looking to get some kind of offense going, get those bats waking up. Palmview Lobos up 3-0. Right now the Lobos would move into district record of 12-3 and leave La Joya at 11-4. And update in the 6th inning. Sharyland still on top of Edinburgh North 7-4. If that results combined, that would leave North at 12-3, and Palmview also at 12-3. So they would be tied.
And if both finish out the season, they're going to be sharing that 35A district title.
Palmview finishes up on Friday against Edinburgh Economides over there in Palmview High. Trying to find out what the situation is for Edinburgh North. They play against La Joya over there at Edinburgh North. So right now, La Joya, Palmview beating La Joya, and if they can get a little help from their sister school on Friday, Palmview could find itself the district champion. The ball hits right into shortstop for the out.
That was a beautiful hit, but unfortunately it found the glove of Esteban Peña.
Number 7, Esteban Chapa.
Seems like these Coyotes just haven't been able to buy a hit all night, huh?
It's been one of those games. One of those games where it's tough to get a hit. So Abraham Perez going 0 for 1, hitting the ball right into the midst of the shortstop, and it will set up Esteban Chapa. He's gone 1 of 2 with 1 strikeout. Third at bat for the senior captain.
I'm just missing Chapa with that breaking ball. Well, it didn't break, but a hanging breaking ball.
23 games played for Chapa.
Getting
Batting.
a little criticism here from the press box personnel.
Can't trust these press box personnel. They're sneaky. Chapa batting .493.
And there's a shot.
And they could make the throw in time. He's saved, so he keeps that batting average up. And he's still hanging on to that little left hand. So count that as an error.
Standing at the plate, number 14, Abel Rodriguez.
An error counted for the Palmview Lobos. And that's just the second error of the game. The first one coming against Damian Leal, an E6. Now this one an
E5. Now Coach Farias giving the signals, making sure that his runner knows what the situation is.
Chapa on first, with Abel Rodriguez, the catcher, stepping onto the plate. It's a hanging ball to the outside. Good for the first ball. Other scores on the night: Harlingen South beats Harlingen High 13-4. So the Hawks are the District 32 5A champions. Brownsville Hanna beats Lopez 5-2. It's still 7-3. Edinburgh North trailing Sherryland in the 6th. They're saying North coach Damian Gonzalez was restricted to the dugout. He apparently put on a show.
Baseball can do that to you.
Garcia.
Pops one out. Foul territory, and Eliasar Garcia is right there to pick it up. That'll make out number 2. And
Abel Rodriguez not able to get that one where he wanted to. So after that error, one runner on first, and now Julio Garcia stepping onto the plate, whose family is watching from Chicago, Illinois. So last time your boy stepped up, 0 for 1, and struck out before in the second inning, hopefully for the Garcia family.
And I believe they told me I believe he said he was his uncle, the pitching coach from Palmview, sitting across the field from him. But, you know, in this game, I'm pretty sure he's hoping that his boy Neto can strike out his nephew right now.
And now a toss to first, and they're going to get him out. Great awareness by Neto Garza as Esteban Chapa was hovering away from first base. Quick throw to first, and they're going to end the inning.
And you can see the look of disappointment on Coach Farias' face as he just walks away. These mental errors are something that he tries to avoid day in and day out.
One error, no hits, no runs, no runners stranded. 3-0 Palmview as we head to the top of the 7th.
Damn, he caught me asleep too. I wasn't even looking.
You watching the game? Huh? You were watching the game from first base?
I was over here, and then all of a sudden, oh, what happened?
Number 14, La Joya Juarez Lincoln.
Well, apparently the first base coach was watching something else also.
Hey,
I think he was mad.
got him good.
He wasn't even on the bag?
He was leaning towards the second.
But he wasn't even on the rubber. What was he doing away from the bag?
You tell me.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. The coach wasn't even leaving the game. Ora.
Gosh, dang it, man.
It's your fault, John.
Hey, watch this here.
Hey, babe. Do not criticize the announcer.
Coming up to the plate, number 21, Ernesto Garza. I'll continue saying Garza because that's exactly what they have on the paper.
So I throw to first to end the bottom of the 6th. Caught plenty of people here in the press box off guard for one. Our own
Including
Jonathan
Esteban
Salinas.
Chapa.
Hey, yeah, I was right. It's Garza, not Garcia.
Eliazar is Garcia. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about Eliazar.
On the plate to start the top of the 7th, Ernesto Garza, the pitcher. Neto, as they call him here, Mookie.
No. Mookie's number 14.
Oh, really?
This is Neto.
Neto. Guarachas Mookie.
Guarachas Mookie. Cello.
Hey, we need something to talk about. It's been a defensive game all night long. And it's, so were you expecting this kind of a defensive game?
You never really know what to expect in these sort of rivalries. You know, it's just one of those games where the records go out the window. Everything is just up in the air. You don't know what to expect. Oh, and Neto seemed to jam himself with an inside pitch there, fouling it down the third base line.
And you see a lot of these players jam their fingers every now and then. You had a couple players from La Joya and Palmview just shaking their hand after an at-bat.
That's good ball placement by that pitcher. It's been a pitcher's duel all night.
You want to make sure you hit him right where the hand is so they can rub some dirt on it.
Nice inside pitch. If they're not fast enough with their hands, they're not going to be able to come around and get a good one on it.
3-0 game, and again,
Another foul ball.
the strong swing by Garza. So Garza playing well in the absence of Chris Rocha, who's being rested for tonight's game. Not sure if he'll be able to come back on Friday.
Now, Coach Garcia was saying if You know, because he's got a pretty good stick as well. You know, if they were to get runners in scoring position right now, don't be surprised if you see number 7 out there on the plate. And
now they hit him.
now Neto took one off the left elbow.
And I thought he was going to grab the ball and throw it at him. But whenever they hit you, you know, you're taught as a baseball player to just suck it up, tie your muscles, and just walk up to first. But those have to hurt at some point.
Speaking of throwing it back at him, I recently saw a video on the internet. It was pitcher connects with the batter right in the head, and the batter retaliates by swinging the bat right at him. It's one of those things that just can quickly escalate if you don't, you know, stay in the right mindset of that it's a game and, you know, it's part of the game.
But Neto Garza reaching on a hit by pitch. And now Cesar Rosales, 1 for 3 on the evening with 1 walk.
Everyone starts looking around. Who's the? Everyone starts pointing to the press box.
Ramos with a little check down throw to first.
Streaming game live here on 956sports.com, presented by McDonald's, Payne Auto Group, and South Texas College. 3-2 ball game. La Joya Palmview up on Sherryland here at La Joya's baseball complex.
You said 3-2 again.
3-0, 3-0. I keep saying 3-2. I'm not sure why. I saw the count. I saw 3-2. 3-0. Pitcher Neto Garza doing a good job of keeping La Joya bats in check, and now Jonathan Ramos trying to do the same after allowing 1 run in the top of the 6th inning. 3-0 lead for Palmview against La Joya. Alex Peña and Jonathan Salinas here on hand with the call tonight. This win combined with Edinburgh North's loss would give Palmview and the Cougars a tied record atop of District 35A with 13-3. And then hope La Joya gives a little bit of help against the Cougars.
Well, La Joya's going to be fighting for their playoff lives as well, so they're not going to be seen as giving help to Palmview. They're going to be seeing it as, let's get in.
And now a little chopper over to second. It'll try to be a double play. Toss to first. He got safe, so they're going to just get 1 out.
Looks like he's going to reach on a little fielder's choice there.
And we really haven't had that many fielder's choice in this game. It's just been that kind of ball game where not many people are reaching. And when you do get runners on base, you leave them stranded. That was the case in the first inning. La Joya left 3, Palmview left 3. And then in the bottom of the 5th, La Joya left 2 runners. And then Palmview left 1 in the top of the 6th. And now Ernesto Garza reaching on a hit by a pitch. And then Cesar Rosales reaching on a fielder's choice with 1 out. Now it's Mookie. Ezequiel Guaracha, first baseman who's played critical tonight.
Guaracha watches that strike go by. I'm pretty sure he's regretting it now. It was a pretty good-looking pitch right there.
Yeah, whenever you find a good pitch, you want to be able to swing on it. And him and Neto Garza have done great job of just swinging at whatever comes at them. Guaracha, high and outside. One-two count with 1 out. And Guaracha at the plate.
Now in a little high and outside. He's going to bring a 2-2 count.
Make it now 2-2. for the Lobos, leading 3-0.
And there's a swing by Mookie low and outside. Not a pretty swing, but Ramos will take it as he gets his strikeout to put 2 outs up on that scoreboard.
Second out of the 7th. La Joya's trying to get out of this inning with a 3-0 deficit and try to salvage the game in a late 7th inning rally.
That strikeout's going to bring up Jose Chapa to the plate with 2 outs and a runner on first. Ramos looking to close this inning with no more than 3 runs on that board and puts a perfect one right down the middle for strike 1.
Jose Chapa, he struck out once, walked, and singled in that order. So he's 1 for 3 on the evening. Now Garza creeping out.
There's a swing by Chapa. Nice curveball low and outside to get him for strike 2.
Palmview with 2 outs and an 0-2. Already have 6 runners stranded throughout the course of the game. This one will be 7th. And they get him swinging, but they're going to call it a ball.
Looks like Chapa was able to hold his swing. That'll bring up a 1-2 count with 2 outs.
But there's been throws where the batter pulls the bat inside and they still call it a.
Obviously, the umpire felt he didn't go.
Like I say, baseball is very subjective. What's a swing here is not a swing over there. And
Oh, that
now
one was definitely a swing.
That's a swing here in China and in Bangladesh. 3rd strike of the inning. And that will do it for Palmview as they try to play some defense now here in the bottom of the 7th. 3-0 lead for the Lobos over the Coyotes. Call that a knife? This is a knife.
Who says that? Who says that? Where does that come out? Where does that come out?
I see you played knifey spoony before.
Who says that?
That's in The Simpsons when they go to Australia.
Is it?
Yeah.
I could have sworn I saw it in a movie or something. Call that a knife? Who's on the mound? So the coach has got to check this from Sherland. The Edinburgh North coach has got to check this from Sherland. Oh, I thought the Sherland coach was the Edinburgh North coach. The Edinburgh North. Yeah, I understood Sherland coach like a guy too. That's what I understood. No, he probably got upset because they're losing and questionable call and. I mean, somebody's got to go to Austin now. Mike, go talk to Joya. We get good. What would you do? And not only the coach. They only give it as a free trip to Austin. Maybe he just wanted to go on vacation. Maybe he wanted to go to 6 years. He was probably trying to motivate the kid, but if we got to do it in high school, that's how. Well, sometimes there's some questionable calls that need to go. Not only sometimes, all the time. Yeah. And Coach Farias has gotten close to getting ejected, but the only reason why he does it is because of he gave his interpretation. I'd agree. It's like I'm surprised Popo doesn't get ejected at all. Popo can be pretty animated.
Shake, 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 to take a shake, 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 shake.
That's what I said.
Is it still Neto pitching out there? Right? Neto still on the mound for the La Joya Palmview Lobos, Coyotes / Huskies.
I think 10 years from now, that's going to be the common way to say it, La Joya Palmview. But right now, it sounds kind of like an insult. I love it. No, that is the way to say it. But they just don't like it.
I'll be on my suit and tie.
Batting for La Joya, number 11, Julio Garcia.
And this is it, folks. Bottom of the 7th. Here we go with Julio Garcia leading off for the La Joya Coyotes. Neto still on the mound for the Palmview Lobos, still showing no signs of fatigue. It's going to be An interesting finish here in the bottom of the 7th, guys.
3-0 lead here for the La Joya Palmview Lobos over La Joya. Second to last week of the regular season, Alex Peña and Jonathan Salinas here on the call for 956sports.com. It's the bottom of the 7th inning. This is where legends are made in high school. And now Julio Garcia, whose family's watching again from Chicago. We can't stress that enough. We want to give shout out to our fans watching above and beyond the Rio Grande Valley.
There's another perfect pitch. It looks like I caught the outside corner. Press box personnel still debating the validity of that call.
Hey, whatever the umpire calls, that's the call. Even though he doesn't raise his arms at all.
That's what he calls, right?
If it looks like a strike, if it smells like a strike.
If he raises his shoulder just a little bit or his elbow. Come on, you got to help a brother out, dude.
Well, that one was certainly fair to see. Another strike in there for Neto.
A 2-2 count, no outs. And Julio Garcia 0 for 2 in the afternoon on the evening with 1 strikeout. 2 at-bats in the 2nd and 4th inning, now in the 7th leading off.
Looks like we're going to make things a little more interesting here with a full count to Julio.
Full count. And I'm surprised the fans still not on their feet. They
You'd expect the Palmview crowd to be a little bit more livelier than they are right now.
They like sitting on the bleachers. It's a comfortable feeling. And now Julio Garcia gets the tip of his bat, sends it foul ball over
it was a scorcher over to the La Joya dugout.
That's the thing about baseball. You can't really, even if you're in the dugout, you can't really be sleeping or anything because you know one of these balls is going to hit you eventually.
If you don't keep your eye out for it, it might catch you.
Thankfully, we have these windows and boards and beautiful net to protect us from any kind of danger.
A really expensive net, actually.
Garcia on the play with a full count, and the Coyotes, or Coyotes, wherever you're from, trailing 3-0 against Palmview. These are the games you don't want to lose against your sister school, your arch rival. Both these teams vying for a playoff spot. Here's the throw down the middle. They're going to call that a ball.
Might have been a little bit low for the umpire, but whatever the call, Julio finds himself on first base for the Coyotes. Neto's still scratching his head as to how perfect that pitch was. Well, at least from his vantage point.
That will put Garcia on the first base and Noé Salinas on the plate.
Seems to be a little discussion going on here.
Only 2 hits for the Coyotes. So the times they've reached base have been on walks, errors, and hits by pitch. Only 2 hits in the evening, Leroy Prado and Esteban Chapa in the first inning. Other than that, Garza retired the batters in order for 3 straight innings. 4 of the last 5 innings, aside from a walk. Other than that, it's been a fairly clean game by Neto Garza.
Coach Farias offering a few words of encouragement to his senior, Noé Salinas, hoping he could probably come through and come up big with another clutch hit here for the La Joya Coyotes.
Well, the Coyotes have done this before. They've gotten to the 7th inning and pulled games through. And Salinas caught swinging for strike number 2.
There's a hesitating swing, though. You can see the look on Coach Farias' face.
And it looked like he wasn't really sure of where to swing because he put his buddy out there and the bat didn't have
just carried the rest of the way.
Didn't have that continuation. But second strike, this is where Neto Garza really comes through. He's ahead of his count. Oh, 2. The delivery inside.
And it looks like he got a piece of it, but Cesar Rosales able to hang on to it. That'll be out number 1 for the Palmview Lobos.
It looked like grazed the bat just a little bit. That's going to be strike number 3 and the first out for the Coyotes. They only have 3 outs to work with, and they already wasted 1. Now batting for La Joya, Esteban Prado, number 27. There's been no pinch hitters or any changes in the lineup offensively for either team. Garza dealing down the middle for ball number 1. Garza's been able to put these balls in the lower corners, not really giving these batters any room to swing at them. And there's back-to-back non-swings by Prado.
And
2
it looks
balls.
like that one caught the outside corner. It looked a little bit wide, but the umpire seemed to like it.
2 balls.
That's going to make for a 1-1 count.
So they changed it to 1-1.
He seems to have a very wide strike zone, huh?
Very subjective. 1-1 with 1 out and a 3-0 lead.
Looks like a slider caught the outside corner. Nope. Looks like
Ball
he's going to
number
give
2.
it ball 2. Palmview crowd not liking that one. Even the press box personnel kind of caught off guard with that one.
What are you talking about? That was a ball? What are you talking about?
2-1 with 1 out, and Prado's still there on the plate. Has gone 0 for 2 in the evening.
Here
Could
comes the
really use a
offer.
hit. Splits first and second. Throw to second is made.
He got the force out at second. But it looks like that's going to give Coyotes 2 outs. And,
It looked like he wasn't even touching base.
well, the umpire seems to have a really good look at it. It's going to be hard to overturn that one.
Bring the instant replay. But there was a similar play towards second where they threw it, and the second baseman didn't get his feet on time, and they were able to advance the first to second. But this time they got the fielder's choice there.
Well, Palmview now 1 out away from clinching that second spot in the 35A and moving 1 step closer to that district title with Sherryland on top of Edinburgh North.
We'll have to see the update on Edinburgh and Edinburgh North and Sherryland. Last time we checked, they threw out one of the Edinburgh coaches out.
Yeah, these season finale games can bring out some intensity from both sides.
Let me check that Twitter feed. Watching online, you can tweet us at 956sports.com or at my personal account at Alejandro Peña or Jonathan.
All right, John_956 Sports.
There you go. You got 3 separate accounts to let us know.
Don't forget our Facebook.
And Facebook, Twitter. We got to get a Snapchat and Instagram. We got to get the whole thing.
The whole package.
Edinburgh North leaves loaded bases on top of the 6th, down to Sherryland 7-4. So now that's at the bottom of the 6th. Here we are at the bottom of the 7th, and La Joya Palmview 1 out away from clinching a 3-0 win against their arch rival La Joya High. And they're going to call that a strike, and again a non-swing.
For what looked like on a really outside pitch.
And this is Carlos Salinas for La Joya. So the first pinch hitter for the Coyotes, and Coach Ruben Farias is going to send the hit.
And that's going to bring on the celebration for the Palmview Lobos as they take that 3-0 decision over the La Joya Coyotes.
And that will do it here on this Tuesday evening from La Joya Baseball Complex. It's going to be ground out by Carlos Salinas for La Joya to end the game. 3-0 victory for La Joya Palmview. They move on the season to 20-5 and 12-3 record. This score holds up. They'll be tied with Edinburgh North for Jonathan Salinas and Alex Peña. Alex Peña, good luck.